Arthur Conan Doyle, The Study in Scarlet.
Chapter 9. The Flower of Utah. This is not the right place to describe all the suffering of the Mormon people before they reach their new home. From the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains, they traveled with great strength and strong determination. They faced wild animals, unfriendly people, hunger, thirst, tiredness, and disease. Nature put many obstacles in their path, but they overcame all of them with strong will and discipline. The long journey and many dangers affected even the strongest people among them. When they finally saw the wide valley of Utah shining in the sunlight, many of them fell to their knees and prayed. Their leader told them that this was the promised land, and that this rich and untouched land would belong to them forever. Young soon showed that he was not only a strong leader, but also a good organizer. Maps were made, and plans for the future city were prepared. Land was divided among the people according to their place in the community. Tradesmen continued their work, and craftsmen used their skills. Streets and squares quickly appeared in the town. In the countryside, people drained fields, planted crops, and cleared the land. By the next summer, the fields were golden with wheat. Everything in the settlement began to grow and become successful. Most important of all was the great temple in the center of the city. It became larger and taller every day. From early morning until evening, the sound of hammers and saws did not stop. This building was a sign of thanks to God, who had led them safely through many dangers. John Ferrier and the little girl who traveled with him went with the Mormons to the end of their long journey. The child, Lucy Ferrier, had been adopted by him as his daughter. She traveled comfortably in Elder Stangerson's wagon, together with his 3 wives and his 12-year-old son, a brave and stubborn boy. After the death of her mother, Lucy recovered quickly, as children often do. She soon became loved by the women and accepted her new life in the moving wagon. Meanwhile, Ferrier also recovered from his difficult experiences. He showed that he was a skilled guide and a tireless hunter. He earned the respect of the Mormon community very quickly. When they finally reached Utah, everyone agreed that Ferrier should receive a large and fertile piece of land. Only the leader Young and the 4 most important elders, Stangerson, Kimball, Johnston, and Drebber, received land that was more valuable. On the land he received, John Ferrier built a strong wooden house. Over the years he added more rooms, until it became a large and comfortable home. Ferrier was a practical man. He was careful in business and very skilled with his hands. He was strong and healthy, and he worked on his land from early morning until evening. Because of this hard work, his farm became very successful. After 3 years, he was richer than most of his neighbors. After 6 years, he lived in comfort. After 9 years, he was rich. And after 12 years, only a few men in Salt Lake City were as rich as he was. From the great inland sea to the far Wasatch Mountains, the name of John Ferrier was well known and respected. There was only one thing that made him different from the other members of the community. He refused to take more wives, as the others did. No one could persuade him to do it. He never explained his reasons and never changed his decision. Some people believed that he was not completely devoted to the religion. Others thought that he simply wanted to save money. Some even spoke about a young woman from his past, a fair-haired girl who had died far away near the Atlantic coast. Whatever the reason was, Ferrier stayed unmarried. In all other matters, he followed the rules of the community and was considered an honest and faithful man. Lucy Ferrier grew up in her father's log house and helped him with his work. The fresh mountain air and the smell of pine trees replaced a mother's care. As the years passed, she became taller and stronger. Her face became healthy and bright, and her movements were light and full of energy. Travelers who passed along the road near Ferrier's farm often stopped and watched her. Some felt old feelings return when they saw her walking through the wheat fields. Others met her riding her father's horse, guiding it with confidence and grace, like a true child of the American West. In this way, the young girl slowly grew into a beautiful young woman. In the same year that her father became the richest farmer in the area, Lucy became one of the most beautiful young women in the whole region. It was not her father who first noticed this change. That is often how it happens. Such changes come slowly and quietly. Even the young woman herself may not understand it at first. Only when a voice or a gentle touch makes her heart beat faster does she realize that something new has awakened inside her. Many people remember the exact moment when their childhood ended and a new life began. For Lucy Ferrier, that moment was important and serious. It would soon affect not only her own future, but also the lives of many other people. It was a warm morning in June, and the people of the Mormon settlement were very busy. They worked like bees, which was the symbol they had chosen for themselves. In the fields and in the streets, the same sound of hard work could be heard everywhere. Along the dusty roads, long lines of mules moved slowly to the west. They carried heavy loads because the gold rush had started in California. The road to the gold fields went directly through the city. At the same time, large groups of sheep and cattle were driven in from far pastures. Tired immigrants also arrived, and both the men and the horses were very tired after their long journey. Through all this busy crowd rode Lucy Ferrier. She guided her horse with great skill. Her face was red from the effort, and her long chestnut hair flowed behind her. Her father had sent her to the city to do something for him, and she rode quickly, as she had done many times before. She thought only about her task and did not feel afraid. The dusty travelers looked at her with surprise. Even the usually calm Native Americans, who were coming to trade animal skins, stopped and stared at the beauty of the young white girl. Near the edge of the city, Lucy found the road blocked by a large herd of cattle. They were driven by several rough-looking cowboys from the plains. Impatient to go on, she tried to push her horse through what looked like an opening in the herd. But as soon as she entered, the cattle closed behind her. She was suddenly surrounded by strong, long-horned bullocks moving forward together. Lucy was used to cattle and did not panic. She tried to move her horse forward whenever she saw a chance. Suddenly, one of the animals hit the horse with its horn. Whether it was an accident or not, the blow frightened the Mustang very much. The horse reared up in anger and fear, jumping and turning wildly. Only a very skilled rider could have remained in the saddle. The danger was very great. Each movement brought the horse closer to the sharp horns again, which made it even more wild. Lucy fought to keep her balance. If she fell, she would be crushed under the heavy hooves of the animals. The dust rose thick into the air, and the heat and steam from the animals made it difficult to breathe. Lucy felt dizzy, and her hands began to loosen on the reins. She was close to losing hope. Then she heard a calm and friendly voice next to her, telling her that help was coming. At the same moment, a strong brown hand caught the horse by the reins. Making a way through the herd, the stranger led the frightened animal safely out to the side of the road. "I hope you are not hurt, miss," said the man who had helped her. His voice was polite and respectful. Lucy looked up at his dark and strong face and laughed lightly. "I'm terribly frightened," she said simply. "Who would have thought that Pancho would be afraid of a few cows?" "Thank God you stayed in the saddle," the young man said seriously. He was tall and rough-looking, riding a strong brown horse. He wore simple hunter's clothes, and a long rifle hung across his back. "I think you are John Ferrier's daughter," he added. "I saw you ride down from his house." When you see him, ask him if he remembers Jefferson Hope from St. Louis. If he is the same farrier, my father and he were good friends. Wouldn't it be better if you came and asked him yourself? Lucy said shyly. The young man looked happy, and his dark eyes shone. I will, he said. We have been in the mountains for 2 months, and we don't look very neat. He must accept us as we are. He has a lot to thank you for, Lucy replied, and so do I. He loves me very much. If those cows had hurt me, he would never have recovered. Neither would I, said the young man. You? Lucy answered playfully. Well, I don't see why it would matter so much to you. You are not even our friend. At this, the young man's face became dark and sad. Lucy laughed again. Oh, I didn't mean that, she said quickly. Of course you are a friend now. You must come and visit us. But now I must go, or Father will not trust me with his errands anymore. Goodbye. Goodbye, he said, lifting his wide hat and bending politely over her hand. Lucy turned her horse, touched it lightly with her whip, and rode away down the wide road, leaving a cloud of dust behind her. Jefferson Hope rode on with his companions, quiet and unhappy. They had spent 2 months in the Nevada mountains, looking for silver. Now they were returning to Salt Lake City, hoping to get enough money to work in the silver mines they had found. Until that moment, Jefferson had been very interested in this business. But this sudden meeting changed everything. The sight of the young girl, open, healthy, and fresh like the mountain air, touched his wild and passionate heart deeply. When she disappeared from sight, he knew that his life had reached an important turning point. Silver, money, and all his other plans suddenly seemed unimportant. What had begun in his heart was not a short feeling, but a strong and serious love. Jefferson Hope was used to success in everything he tried. He promised himself that he would not fail now. If hard work and determination could win her love, then he would succeed. That same evening, Jefferson Hope visited John Ferrier. He came again and again until his face became well known at the farmhouse. John Ferrier had spent most of his life working in the valley and had had little contact with the outside world during the past 12 years. Jefferson told him many things about what was happening beyond the mountains, and both Lucy and her father listened with great interest. Jefferson had lived in California during the early days of the gold rush. He told exciting stories about people who became rich overnight, and about others who lost everything just as quickly. He had worked as a scout and a trapper. He had searched for silver and had owned a ranch. Wherever there was adventure, Jefferson Hope went to find it. Soon he became a favorite of the old farmer, who spoke warmly about his courage and honesty. At such times Lucy said very little, but her red cheeks and bright eyes clearly showed that her heart now belonged to someone else. Her father may not have noticed this change, but Jefferson Hope certainly did. One warm summer evening, Jefferson rode quickly down the road and stopped at the gate. Lucy was standing in the doorway and came out to meet him. He tied his horse to the fence and walked towards her. "I am leaving, Lucy," he said, taking both her hands and looking gently into her face. "I will not ask you to come with me now, but will you be ready to come when I return?" "And when will that be?" she asked, smiling and blushing. "In 2 months at most," he replied. "I will come back for you then, my dear. No one will come between us." "And what about Father?" she asked softly. "He has agreed," Jefferson answered. "But only if we make the mines successful. I am not worried about that." "Well then," she whispered, resting her cheek against his chest. "If you and Father have decided everything, there is nothing more to say." "Thank God," he said in a quiet voice, and bent down to kiss her. "It is settled. The longer I stay, the harder it will be to leave. The others are waiting for me in the canyon. Goodbye, my darling. In 2 months, you will see me again." As he spoke, he pulled himself away from her. He jumped onto his horse and rode away at full speed, without looking back, as if he was afraid his courage would fail if he did. Lucy stood at the gate and watched until he disappeared from view. Then she returned quietly to the house, the happiest girl in all of Utah.